What's going on, homies? Welcome to the Correct Soccer Podcast, episode number 11. We are here today on Monday. It is about 7:30 p.m. after a beautiful weekend. Beautiful weekend of soccer. Beautiful weekend of soccer for the MLS, as well as across the globe. I don't know if you guys have noticed Fern's shirt, but you don't have to because it doesn't really matter. I guess it was a pretty cool game with Barcelona. But anyways, yes, beautiful weekend. My name is Angel, El Capitan Reyes, with my two homies, the boys, Angel, Chino, Lopez. Say what's good to the people, my guy.
Might as well just change my name to Angel El Loser Lopez, as we'll see in the scoreboard here. Still good to be here. What's going on, my people? I'm excited to get into another week of MLS. I'm here with my boys. So I'll go pass it over to my boy Fern, who is very excited about a lot of soccer that was going on around the world.
Yep. It was a good weekend for soccer and just being outside in general, So, yeah, hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope you guys watched the Copa del Rey final. And, yeah.
Maybe you'll tell us a little bit more about that Copa del Rey, Fern. But before we get into all that, obviously there's been some games. There's been some changes. There's been some points to be had. There's been some points missed. So, Fern, if you can so gracefully do the honors of showing us the leaderboard after week 10, going into week 11. Here we go. Look at this.
This is all part of the experience.
Exactly. Love to see it, man. Alrighty. So in first place.
Who loves to see it?
You already know. 60 points for El Capitan. We're sitting up top pretty, man, but there's been some changes with second and third place. Fern, you finally got out of the bottom spot, dude. What did you do? What happened?
I just saw whatever Lopez was doing, and I'm like, let me not do that. And it worked.
I feel like a couple weeks ago, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, you said the opposite.
Yeah. No, I just got lucky, honestly. I know for a fact Orlando was one of the ones like that I picked and nobody else did. And I feel like that's kind of, you just got to get lucky those weeks and stuff like that. But there were a couple that I picked that you guys didn't pick that kind of messed me up. So, but yeah, no, you just got to get lucky.
Yep.
This was my week. I think, what was it? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I only got 3 right. And then this week I got 8 right. So,
dude, hell yeah. There you go. 8 right. I think I got 7. So that's good. You're definitely climbing up on the ranks there. But then Lopez, listen, man, you've been doing great. You've been doing phenomenal, actually. Only 10 weeks in, okay? Game ain't over. But tell me, what the hell happened, bro? What happened?
I clearly was not more cowboy than Fern. And what I got to do this week, bro, is I got to lock in. Got to pony up here. Got to pony up.
El Vaquero.
Got to ride. Chino country, let's ride. This is what we're doing here, baby. We're coming back for that number 1 spot. We're riding into victory. My soldier's rage. Let's get into this week, baby. Lots of MLS left this season, baby. We got it.
Go. Love it. If you know that reference that Lopez just mentioned, y'all are real homies. But if you don't worry about it. It's only for the select few. Very nice, fellas. The leaderboard, we're going to keep up with that. Keep posting on it on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Please continue to, follow us on there. Let us know what picks we're going to hit, what picks we're not. If we're going to hit, let us know. If we're not, let us know even more because I'm sure you guys like to do that. So putting that out there. Beautiful. Now, going straight into the next segment, we will go into the most amazing segment we have, the correct performances of the week, correct performances of MLS Week 10. To kick us off, we will have Chino to give us his performances. Chino, take it away, my guy.
Kicking it off, the cracked player of the week, my guy out here in Nashville, Tennessee. Sam Surridge, absolutely wild game. I know this isn't the game of the week, but 7 goals by this Nashville team compared to a very measly 2 goals by this Chicago team. Do you guys know how many players scored those 7 goals for Nashville?
I want to say it was 3 or 4.
There we go. Right on, man. 3 players. Surridge, who had 4 goals. Jason Palacios, or should I say Jason Palacios, who had 1. And Haney Mukhtar, who had 2 goals.
The German Messi.
There you go. But an impressive 18 shots by this Nashville team, 12 of which were on target, 58% possession. But You guys always be giving me them Lopez lessons. Are you guys ready to be quizzed yourselves?
I love it, dude. I love it. Play the reverse card, baby. Let's
The
go.
Uno reverse, baby. Let's get it. So, do you guys know how many players in the MLS pulled off this feat that Sam Surridge just pulled off by scoring 4 goals? How many players in the MLS have scored 4 or more, not 4 or more, 4 goals in a single game?
I'm gonna go. I'm assuming it's a pretty tough thing to do, even though maybe some people didn't think it is. I'm gonna go with 7.
Good guess, Reyes.
I'm gonna say 5.
No, you guys, it is an impressive feat, but as of April 28th, 2025, Lee, 19 players. That is, so a whole 19 players have
Yo, we were hella off, dude.
accomplished this feat. But the most recent one is indeed Sam Surridge with this 7-2 win over Chicago.
Is Morris on there?
Oh, if you guys remember my other crack player.
No, you're good. You're good.
Recently, you guys remember my other cracked player of the week, Brian White, Vancouver Whitecaps. He's also one of those players now in that 19, the glorious 19. Moving right on to, I'm actually going to have Fern introduce my cracked team of the week, my cracked performance, my cracked game of the week. I'm sure Fern is very excited to present this next team.
He gonna walk out. He's done. Nope, he's done.
Can it be anybody else other than FC Dallas versus Inter Miami? Yes. Am I mostly picking FC Dallas just to be a Fern hater? Absolutely. I will give grace and say Miami was resting Messi, Suarez, Alba,
You know what?
and Busquets was even an unused substitute, man.
You can't. I would say, most times I would use that as an excuse, but they were winning 3-1 going into the half.
That is
So
exactly
it's
what I was
like,
gonna say.
I don't know, whatever.
That is precisely what I was going to say. You can't, overall, Miami shot themselves in the foot. This is what it looked like. I didn't get to watch the game, unfortunately. Was it Miami falling apart or FC Dallas just locking in and going full blue lock on it? I don't know, man. But what I will say is, something happened. They still got their first L of the season right. And I don't know, man. I'm going to just chalk it up to FC Dallas flipped the switch and Miami just didn't know what they were doing. They just realized their prince was gone and immediately fell apart.
For sure.
But solid game. Got to give it up to FC Dallas in that 3-4 win. But with that concludes my cracked players. And I'm going to be pouring one out just as Fern did last week. One for my picks this week. I got 4 right. Unfortunate. Like I said, I got a Cowboy up. Going to lock in this next week, and only time will tell. We'll see what happens here over these next couple of weeks. But I'm going to be passing it back to you, Cap.
Yeah, I love that, dude. Look, at some point we're all going to get like 1 or 2 wrong. At some point we're going to have a lot more picks correct than we have wrong. But it's okay. I love that, dude. Love those crack performances. Amazing games. You did steal my crack game of the week as well. I loved the fact that Miami lost. I love being able to text Fern on our group chat and tell him, yo, your boys lost. It is what it is. You can't take it back. It's an L. It's in the record books. You got to take it. You can either be happy about it and learn about it, or you can go down in the slumps. They got a big game coming up this week, so who knows? You
guys should have picked FC Dallas to win then.
Hey, you're absolutely right. We did not pick FC Dallas to win, but who did? To be honest, I'm just happy that Miami is not going to go undefeated this year, which is beautiful because that's just too insane, to be honest with you. But yes, very good game. Correct game of the week as well for me. But going into my correct player of the week, I'm going to have to give it up to Dennis Bawanga. My cracked player of the week. The guy balled out. Listen, 2-2 draw. LAFC versus St. Louis City. 2-2 draw, okay? The thing is, yes, it was a draw. We don't like draws around here. But Dennis balled out, man. Listen, he had quite a few opportunities in this game. He had some good shots off, but he didn't put all of them away. St. Louis ended up getting ahead in like the 89th minute or something like that, made it 2-1. And then after that, maybe it was before, I forget. Dennis Bawanga had a penalty. The guy was taking the penalty. Dennis Bawanga did. Homie missed. Okay? He missed his penalty. The penalty to put them ahead, to win the game, to tie the game and then potentially win the game at the end. Did he let it falter him? Did he let it get to his mind? No. Because in the 95th or whatever it was, Homie equalized, did what he had to do, took it by himself.
That
And
was a
equalized
crazy goal too, because there was like two defenders on him, and he just I don't know how he did it. He just lifted it up into that top right corner where they couldn't do anything. It's one of those nice goals where you can put 4 people on it and still go in.
Yeah, exactly. He balled out. Like you said, 2 people. Then at the very end, when he shot it off, it's in between like 3. So yeah, it was a solid performance by him, man. I think he had an 8.8 player rating. So hats off to him. I mean, like we mentioned, if you're kind of in that rut, dude, if you can get out of it and perform better later in the game or maybe the next game, good on you. But the fact that he could do it in the same game, he gets it off for me. Crack player of the game. Pouring one out. This is warranted, granted. Listen, previous MLS Cup champs last year. Don't know what's going on, man, but 10 losses to start the season. It sucks. I got to pour one out for LA Galaxy. Y'all don't look good. I'm sorry. I know you guys got injuries. I understand it, but to lose another game, y'all need some milk. I don't know what it is. I don't know what else to say. If y'all get some players back this month, great. Or sorry, in the month of May, great. But honestly, even if you did have Ricky Puig in there, I don't even think that would help because they have some good players all around, and they just don't look like they're connecting. They don't look like they're clicking. Y'all don't look like y'all want it. Y'all want us to believe. Y'all want everybody to say, "Hey, we're gonna get out of it." I think this is the week. This is the week that they can prove that wrong. I'm gonna probably go for them this week for the pick, but getting a little bit ahead of myself, y'all didn't do great. Pour one out for you guys.
Yeah, man. Still the end of April. I will toss it in there. If I wasn't pouring one out for myself, definitely pour one out for LA Galaxy there, bro. Like I said, if it's not last week, it's probably going to be never. But I'm going to hold out hope because it is indeed not going to be the end of April by the time the games come around this weekend, bro. GG's for your season, but we'll see.
We will see. We will see. Nice, Fernando, Fern. Round us out, man, with your crack performances.
Okay, so my cracked player of the week is actually going to be Kevin Denke. Ooh. Oh my. Okay, so he scored 2 goals, which is pretty impressive in itself, but he also had 13 out of 13 passes completed, which, is always good to have a striker, which most of the time is pretty short passing and whatnot. But what definitely put it over the top was, if you guys don't mind me sharing this for 2 quick seconds, if I can find it. I'm going to share this with you guys real quick. Look at this. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Look at that. Look at this angle.
Beautiful.
That's like perfect. Like he gets off the ground, just like it's not one of those where he kind of like lifts himself up. He gets like completely off the ground.
Boom. Love that, dude. No, I love that, dude. I love that you shared it. Also, another thing, too, from this bicycle kick that he scored, if you watch him right before they're about to give that center, homie don't look like he's like, listo.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like ready. You know what I mean? He, like, in the air was like, oh, shit, I'm going to do a bicycle kick. Boom. That's what it looked like, man. I was like, talk about athleticism. Nuts.
Yeah, honestly, he reminds me of myself a lot. That's why I picked him as our cracked player of the week.
Too good. Too good.
No. So yeah, he definitely balled out. That was a crazy goal. I feel like every once in a while you get a crazy goal like that. So it was nice to see something like that. And for me, for my cracked game of the week, I'm actually going to go with Orlando versus Atlanta United. Just because I feel like they completely outclassed Atlanta United, like, is this guy? No, okay. Yeah, they were missing their main striker, right? Because of a red card. So I kind of had a suspicion that they were going to do kind of bad just because they were missing him. I didn't expect it to be this bad. And yeah, just I don't know what Orlando City did where they just kind of balled out, and I don't know if it was the home crowd or what, but yeah, they definitely.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be super bad like that and whatnot, but yeah, no, it was a really good game, very high scoring and whatnot. So
Yeah.
shoot, oh my gosh, sorry guys, sorry, I misclicked.
My
Yeah,
goodness.
that's my cracked game of the week.
Sweet, bro. You pouring one out for anybody?
Yeah, I'm pouring one out for all three of us because I literally called it last week. I said, this is one of those weeks where we all go up against RSL. And I said, just watch, we're all going up against them this week. They're going to win. I literally said it, and they won. So
Yeah, man,
That is true.
Right. You were right. We were unfaithful, and this is what we get.
Yeah, man, it's true. I mean, it's hard though, because San Diego has so much talent, and they obviously beat us in the very first game of the season. But then we even go to Snapdragon and we win. Like RSL wins. Who would have thought, dude? And they've been balling at their home turf, dude. So I can agree with you more. Sorry, RSL. Y'all won. Good job. Next time we won't be so harsh.
give me the number 10 jersey. Trust. I got you guys.
Yeah, that's for sure. That guy needs to go. I'm just saying that for sure. Nice. But those were our crack performances for the week. MLS Week 10. Lovely, lovely games and performances by everybody. Now, we're going to do something a little bit different here. After 10 weeks, I feel like we have a pretty good understanding of what teams look like, what teams are probably going to look like in the next 5, maybe 10 games. So we're going to try something a little bit newer here for the cracked power rankings. We will be ranking every team. Excuse me one second. We will be ranking every team on a scale of, and this will be fun to show everybody, on a scale from cracked to nalgas.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think we can kind of make this a little more collaborative. I think this is kind of a little bit fun to do. It's a little bit newer for us. I think for a lot of these, it's probably a little bit obvious as to kind of where you're going to put some people. The middle is probably where we're going to be a little bit struggling, I think, and maybe not having the same opinion. But to start us off, guys, I mean, I think I could probably name 4 teams right now that are absolutely cracked right now, top teams of the league right now. And my first pick for the cracked team in the cracked bracket is going to have to go with Vancouver. Do I have any objections?
No,
I was honestly gonna say there's only one cracked team in the MLS right now, and it's Vancouver.
Lovely.
and agree with that.
Vancouver. I like it. I think they're doing very good. I mean, obviously not just within the MLS, but Concacaf as well. The reason I say 4 is because I think to the other ones, respectively, right? Yes, some of them have a loss, but I think they're also very, very good teams that haven't shown a lot of weaknesses. I would say Columbus is definitely up there in the cracked conversation. Miami, and then I would probably put, kind of looking at this, Miami, Columbus, and
I would-
maybe
I would argue Cincinnati's case, bro.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati has been pretty
I
good.
would argue Cincinnati's case for the S tier contenders.
They are first in the East too. So
Yeah, you're right.
So for me, like I
like
agree
them
with
in
Inter Miami. I agree with Inter Miami. I would argue a case for LAFC. Like, yes, again, I'm not going based off of purely their outcome. Because, again, right, looking at Inter Miami last week, like, yes, they were ahead. Yes, they ended up losing that game. It's their first loss. They were missing several key players. Could that game have easily been 7 like the Chicago game? Yes, if Miami would have had their whole team. But in my humble opinion, Inter Miami, LAFC, FC Cincinnati, and Vancouver Whitecaps are up there. And Columbus Crew, I would put them in A tier. But again, my opinion, Fern, I will let you plead your case either way.
yeah, no, I don't think I'd put LAFC up there. You know, I think that's me personally. I feel like they aren't as good as they should be, and I'm honestly like, as much as I love Inter Miami, I also kind of am hesitant to put them up there as well, just because you know what, Messi's on there, so they're gonna be cracked. Honestly, they're just too old. Lopez
you
said
also
it. It's a
gotta think-
retirement home.
You got to think about the past 10 games, though. Like, they are old, yes. They have lost, yes. But they haven't really shown any weaknesses until this last week.
Maybe they just got me mad this past weekend, so they
Maybe
got me
that's what it
freaking.
is.
No, but yeah, no, I feel like that's good. I don't know. I don't mind LAFC being in the A tier, just because I feel like these clubs up here. So the Whitecaps and FC Cincinnati are both on top, you know, of
Yes.
their respective sides,
Yes.
and then Columbus and Inter Miami were both undefeated up until the last 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
I can't personally
Yeah.
put LAFC on that same stage as all 4 of those teams.
Yeah.
So me personally, I'd leave it at those
I
4.
agree.
So
I
I don't know.
respect it.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, they're a great team, like you said, Lopez. They're a really good team. So yeah, I think A's okay. I don't know how many losses they have. They probably have like what, 2 or 3 maybe.
Who?
LAFC
They have 4.
4. Okay. So yeah. So I mean, honestly, yeah, they're good here in A. I would argue in between here, but
Yeah.
A is a good spot.
Yeah, and even Cincinnati is in first, and Inter Miami is a game behind. But even with that game behind, if they were to win, Cincinnati would still be first. So it's like not kind
okay.
of like one of those.
Yeah. So
You guys
easy
wanna
with the
know-
correct. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, you finish out yours.
No, I was gonna go to the next part, so you go.
Oh, well, in transitioning to the next part, you want to know the first team I got for the A tier?
Sure thing.
Hey,
ATL, really?
L in the A tier. Yes, they're not looking good. I would personally argue that they had a hot start to the season. Do you guys know what's going on? I haven't looked that deeply into.
They only have one more win than Toronto. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I like Atlanta. I do. I think they have a great team,
Yeah.
but they're not. Like I said, they're not bad. And this is why I called it this. They're not a bad team, but they have not been consistently good. They've only won how many
2.
games? 2 games. Like I said, great squad, great players on the team.
They're missing you, Lopez. You got to go back, give them that fire again.
Gotta go, dude.
Exactly.
When I was over there, they were winning. All right, I can agree. We can drop
Yeah.
them down.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like
It's
I
like-
said,
I'll
they're
keep
not
my
bad.
opinions to myself now.
It's no, because but it is they do have a good team. It's like one of those teams where like maybe they lose the games, but it's not like they're getting like.
Yeah, they're not getting.
I guess
killed.
I can't. The last 2 games they lost 3-0, so I guess. But their games are always like high scoring, So like either they lose by barely or they barely tied and stuff like that. They're not usually getting killed besides these last 2 games. But I would say that they just needed something to like click, and then they can make a run.
Probably will. They probably will make a run. They'll probably stay consistent. So I like them in the middle of the pack. Okay, they're not down in the bottom. An argument for the A tier here, I would say Portland and Philly have to be in the A.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with that.
for
Probably
sure.
top half of the bracket, I think. And Portland, dude, like I said, I think last week, they're way better than I thought. Their attacking half, dude, is just ridiculous. They can like create opportunities so fast. And then Philly does the same thing. They have a lot of weapons up top, and they can just, pretty much put any team on their heels. So I like these guys up on the A.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree? Oppose?
Yeah, they're second on the Western side as well. They've only lost 2 games all season, so I also agree with that.
Yeah, so pretty
Here,
solid.
here.
Honestly, A is pretty tough to like be in because I feel like it's really close to cracked.
Yeah.
But as far as like a not bad but not consistently good, I think this will probably be one of the bigger tiers with teams because here's where I'll start. Right, needs to be in here. I want to put them in the A. I want to put them in the A. Okay, but they've lost a couple games where I was like, yo. How did you
They lost to
lose this?
Toronto, and you're saying you want to
Yes.
put them in the A?
Well, I know,
I would
but they
argue-
beat San Diego too,
But
I
San
don't
Diego,
know.
I guess,
also-
yeah.
and San Diego's pretty good. Well, I mean, what do you guys think? You guys think pour one out? You guys think lower?
I think somebody in the comments in one of our social media posts said that San Diego was overrated. I started looking into them a little bit more. I think San Diego might be a little bit overrated, in my opinion. Like, yes, it's nice that RSL did end up getting that dub. I don't know, man. I would put RSL in the pour one out section right now until I see more from them.
Okay.
As a fan, I say this out of love. I haven't seen enough from RSL to put them in the nuts. Nuts very good. Like sometimes very good, sometimes very,
Yeah, that's
Also,
probably what we
like-
should call it.
The crazy thing is they are the only team in the MLS that has not tied a game. They either win or they lose. There's
Oh,
no in
really?
between. Yeah,
RSL?
they have
Wow.
0 ties, 6 losses, and 4 wins, and everybody else has at least 1 draw.
Wow.
So-
I did not know that. That's crazy.
RSL 10th in the Western Conference.
So would we say we're both pouring one out for RSL and San Diego? Because I mean, you guys mentioned, hey, in San Diego, they got a good squad, but they're not. I don't think they're very consistent because they
I
didn't
would-
lose in RSL.
I think they're better than San Diego or than RSL. Me personally,
I personally agree with that.
Okay.
just
2-1.
because. Okay, so RSL did beat them, yes, but
But they
I
didn't
feel
lose to
like-
Toronto.
San Diego also has had better games than RSL has, and
Got it.
I feel like their problem is they're not consistent, which is kind of the not
Got it.
bad, but not consistently good.
Okay.
That's kind of I'm always willing to change, but they are four, so it's kind of like right
Okay.
in the middle. They're literally
Yeah.
like
Fair.
average.
Fair enough. I'm gonna spitfire a couple of these so that we can kind of get through this, but I think not bad, but not consistently good. I would throw Colorado. I would throw Austin. I would throw Orlando.
Throw Nashville in there.
I would throw Nashville. I would throw probably Charlotte.
Yeah.
Maybe even Chicago. Actually, Chicago probably would pour one out.
Yeah, probably pour one out for them.
But yeah, these guys there, I'm debating, and Minnesota. Minnesota has to be in the not bad, but not consistently good. I feel.
Can I take us back a little bit?
Yep.
Looking at Atlanta United realistically next compared to all the teams that it's up there with, do we feel
You're right. I mean,
remains where it belongs?
2 wins. I didn't
Like
know
I know I was gonna put them in the A tier. I was digging into it a little bit more. I was
probably.
digging in it.
Okay,
So,
we're gonna pour one out for Atlanta.
Pour one out for Atlanta.
10 weeks in, this could change, people. Okay, this could change. We're 10 weeks in.
See, look, we're not biased here. He's from, he lived in ATL and he put a pour one out, and we put RSL there.
I wanted to put him up higher. Like I wanted to believe in what I know that they can be, but at this point in time, like looking at the other teams that we were putting up with Atlanta United at this point in time, I'm like, I don't know if it really belongs in that group.
Especially with Austin being in that tier and they're third in their conference, it's kind of
it's a little disrespectful on our part, but hey,
a little bit, but
realistically.
Yeah, I mean, to be compared with these three, it's tough, honestly.
You know what? Maybe,
and maybe even at this point,
I was gonna say
we're messing with LAFC. It's like LAFC is good, yes, but compared to Timbers and Philly, like
so that's another one that like I also was eyeballing to like
because I was gonna say we could. No, you're good. Because I was gonna say Austin is third in the Western Conference, but I mean.
Okay.
I feel like I
haven't seen anything
at the stats right now. Yeah, they do have quite a few losses compared. So let's see out of the top 6, they have the most losses. It's just because everybody else has been kind of tying. So
got it. Okay.
No, I think they're fine there actually.
Yeah,
they lost against Vancouver. They lost against.
They're tied third between 3 teams, so it's fine.
Yeah, we're good there.
Okay, we're good there. And then I think a good chunk is probably going to go back to the pour one out too. I think DC United can arguably be up here.
I'd pour one out for them.
Yeah, but I think then they just lose too this week.
But they also only have 2 wins, so
yeah. So we got to pour one out for them. FC Dallas did beat Miami, but how many wins do they have? Like 3, maybe
4.
Oh, yeah, 4. Okay,
so they're actually
more wins.
Yeah.
They're middle of the pack in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
They're like number 6 out of 15.
Okay, so we like them a little bit. Maybe they're a little middle of the pack. Maybe they're not terrible. They're not consistently good. They did beat, like I said, they did beat Miami, respectively, right? I mean, yes, they didn't play their best players, but they were down 3-1, and then they came back beat them 4-3. Like that's not easy to do in any game.
Yeah, no, I'm looking back at the stuff, and it's not.
I think we've been sleeping on Dallas. That's what I'm trying to start missing.
Yeah, because I'm looking, and they've been doing pretty good. The only teams they've like lost to or drawn against are like the really good teams. Like Chicago started off really good. They lost to Vancouver. They tied against Atlanta. They lost to Seattle, and they actually ended up beating it. So I feel like they're a pretty good team.
Okay, and these next ones, I think these are a little bit tougher too. So I think we have the easy part with Nalgas here, but I'm going to go probably, New England probably is another one that's in between. Seattle, I still don't know.
I would say the San Jose for sure is a pour one out just because they started off the season so well, and they've just been falling apart.
Absolutely.
I think they started off 2-0 in the season or 3-0, and now they're 3-1, 3 wins, 1 draw, and 6 losses, which is crazy.
Yeah, really bad. Honestly.
I would also put the Red Bulls in the pour one out.
Yeah, I think both New York teams need to find something. They're not doing so well. I think New York finally got their win, a good win. I think it was this last weekend. But again, I don't think they've been like consistent or not. You know what I mean? Like they're not doing so well.
Yeah, I kind of want to put Seattle in the not bad but not consistently good. I just feel like
That is true. I think.
I don't know if it's like the injuries or what, but they can probably stay where they are right now.
How
But
many
yeah,
wins do they have? Do you know?
they have 3 wins, 4 draws,
Mm.
3 losses.
Oh, okay, so they've had a lot of draws. They've had a bit of injuries, but
But
I mean they
yeah,
have a good team.
yeah. You also have to like think that they came into the season as probably one of the favorite teams to
Yeah, for
start. And
sure.
now
This one I'm a little hesitant with. I don't really know where to put St. Louis. I feel like they're pretty good, but I don't think they've been winning as many games as
Two
everybody
wins
expects.
on the season, bro. Yeah, 2 wins, 4 draws, 4 losses.
Yeah, that's hard, man. But like I said, I think when you watch them play, like they're actually like a team that plays really hard and they do really well, but they just haven't been winning. You know
You
what I
just hate
mean?
to see it. Yeah. I'd leave it in the poor one out section for right now, and then just looking at
Okay,
because
yeah.
looking at the teams that are at the bottom, man, like the straight up nalgas of all nalgas, like Toronto. No, all nalgas of all nalgas is LA Galaxy. If we're being for real,
Yes.
Toronto at least got a dub,
we should have added a LA Galaxy tier under Nalgas.
right?
Okay, we always can. We totally can. We'll put one in for next time. But yeah,
Sporting
LA
Kansas
Galaxy,
City, throw them in
Toronto,
nalgas.
Sporting Kansas City. Did they lose this last week again?
Yeah, 2 wins, 1 draw, 7 losses on the
Wow,
season.
wow, goodness gracious. Yeah, that's rough. Houston, I forget. I haven't really watched Houston.
They're pretty bad too. They only have 2 wins. So the bottom 3 in the West are LA Galaxy, Sporting Kansas City, and the Houston Dynamo. And I guess St. Louis is there too technically because they're tied 10 points, and San Jose
Okay,
Earthquakes as well. They're pretty close to the bottom. Nobody beats the
gotcha.
Galaxy though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Houston.
They're the kings of ass.
No, bro. Houston could go either pour one now or in Nalgas. Like
yeah.
looking at the
I would
caliber of
argue.
Nalgas that is down below, like I would even
Yeah,
argue putting it up there. But like St. Louis has been more impressive than Houston, even though they do have a similar record.
yeah. I would
They
argue
all,
Sporting Kansas City. I know we've been dogging on them a little bit, but I feel like that win kind of gave me a glimpse of like what they could be. What was it? Like maybe 2 weeks
San
ago,
Jose.
3 weeks ago?
Yeah. 2
Yeah,
weeks ago.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, the Quakes are bad. Like they've been bad for like the last 4 or 5 weeks. But when they beat them, I was like, dang, like these guys are actually not too bad, right? But like you guys said, their record hasn't really been showing anything. They have a tough game. I think they have a pretty tough game this next week, and I don't think they're going to win. So, yeah, I can see them in Nalgas, but I do also think that they could be in pouring out if they win this next week. We'll see though. How do we feel about this one? How do we feel about this? What are some that we're probably like maybe not?
I honestly feel pretty good about it. Like as we moved stuff around and shifted things up and down, I think the final product looks pretty good. Like I got to keep supporting Kansas City in the Nalgas section, but Houston is the only one where I would argue maybe moving them up a little bit. But hey, I'll let the Houston fans hate in the comment sections, So we'll see.
Love it. Fern, what do you think, dude?
Yeah, no, it looks pretty good to me.
Okay.
Honestly, I feel like
Sweet.
yeah, because
Okay.
I can't see moving anybody up to the A tier for sure.
Okay.
And I can't
Well, there you
really see
have it,
anybody
folks.
dropping.
The first correct power rankings. In the correct tier, we have the Vancouver Whitecaps, red hot Vancouver Whitecaps. FC Cincinnati doing very, very well. Inter Miami, you already know. Columbus Crew, consistently always up there. In the A tier, we have the Portland Timbers and the Philadelphia Union. And then in the not bad, but not consistently good, or what were you saying, Lopez? How did you say it? You gonna say it?
Sometimes very good, sometimes very shit.
Exactly. In that tier, we have San Diego, Colorado, Austin, Orlando City, Nashville, Charlotte, LAFC, Minnesota, and FC Dallas. And then in the tier below that, we do have the pour one out section where they're pretty bad, but we want them to be good, but they're pretty bad. RSL, Chicago, Atlanta, DC United, New England, Seattle, San Jose, both New York teams, New York City and New York Red Bulls, St. Louis City. And then at the very bottom, the Nalgas section, the Cheeks section, if you will. We have Toronto, Montreal, Sporting Kansas City, and Houston. And top of the list, which honestly they should have their own little tier, LA Galaxy. Absolute Nalgas.
I don't think any of these are in any particular order besides maybe Galaxy being up front and the Nalgas. So
Exactly. Well, there you have it. The correct power rankings. A fun little section, I feel. We can continue to do these maybe every other week, maybe every 5 weeks or so, and then just kind of update it as we go. But let us know in the comments. Let us know if if we're correct on some of these. If you don't like the idea of some of these teams being in the bottom tiers or in the top tiers, let us know. Comment below. Let us know what your thoughts are. We'd love to kind of interact with you guys and see kind of what your thoughts are. Sweet fellas, love that little section there. Going into our headlines, there wasn't a lot. There was just a lot of goals in the week, and there's a lot of other stuff going on internationally. But to go into some of the headlines, we're going to go right into the Concacaf Champions Cup. Concacaf Champions Cup. We do have some pretty exciting games coming up, especially with Fern's boyfriend playing in one of them. Let's see. We do have a game this Wednesday and this Thursday. Miami versus Vancouver and Cruz Azul versus Tigres. Exciting, fellas. This is it right here. And I think something that I wanted to point out for this first game here with the Inter Miami and Whitecaps, we've seen what Inter Miami can do. When they're at their best, when they try and when they have that passion and that aggression, and I forget the other part, they can be very good and they can have comebacks. They're a very good team. It's in Miami. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be electric. Sold out. I guarantee it will be. Vancouver's going to have, a hill to climb almost just with the fact that they're going to be in unknown territory. But I'm curious what you guys thoughts are here. 2-0 in Global. What do you guys think for this?
Good looks, Brian White, man, putting up those goals. One of the goals in the first wins here. I'm a big Whitecaps fan. Like I said, I started off the season the hater, but here we are, a converted man. Send the Whitecaps missionaries over to my house. I'll buy the gear and become a religious fan. But yeah, not much else to say. We'll see. They've been resting their boys over there in Miami. Not too crazy of a trip for them, but we'll see how things shape up for them.
For sure. What do you think, Fern?
Concacaf, do you want viewers for your final? Yes or no? Get the refs on board. Get the refs on board. You need the views. Get Messi into the final. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch the first half. I did watch the second half because I don't have the channel and they give you a certain amount of time free. I was like, let me save my time for the second half. And they were bad. They were horrible. They should have been able to score. I don't know. I don't want to put it all the blame on Suarez, but he's just not who he was before. He needs the space to be able to get his shots off. And I feel like the Whitecaps just did a really good job of, just containing everybody. Anytime Messi touched the ball, you'd see 3 players on him or something like that. And just, containing him really well, kind of getting him mad a little bit, like you said, Reyes, which most of the time when you make Messi mad, it's not the best thing ever. But I just feel like he's, he can still do damage to you in certain ways, but he needs to be able to have those teammates around him to be able to help him do the damage. He might not be able to get the shot off, but he'll be able to get the pass off or something. But he needs somebody that can, make a shot, do something like that. I don't know what they're doing. They just got that new striker. He scored a goal this past week, so hopefully that kind of carries over. They got rid of Robert Taylor this past week as well on the deadline, and I also saw they were trying to get rid of Julian Gressel, which, just watching this team, I just feel like they don't have very much depth. I did like Robert Taylor. He was a good player. He'd score goals. He was effective in the top half of the games, and I don't know. Like I said, I've been losing a little bit of faith in Inter Miami this year. I had high hopes, but the way they've been playing hasn't been the best. Yeah, they were undefeated, but a lot of the times they kind of, had to pull out the Messi dark magic to get the tying goal or the game-winning goal. And yes, Messi is the best player of all time, but I hate watching them play sometimes because I feel like they have the ball. They have the ball. There's maybe another option, but instead they just give a really bad pass to Messi where there's 2 people around him, and I'm like, okay, yes, you want Messi to have the ball, but don't just give it to him and lose it. You know what I'm saying?
Don't create a bad situation with a good player just because he's a good player. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game for sure.
I still believe. Yeah. I'll say it's gonna be 4-1
at the end. You think Whitecaps win?
I think they'll get
game.
Yeah, this game it'll be 4-1.
Okay, Miami
Inter
4,
Miami
huh?
will score 4. They'll be up 3-0. The Whitecaps will score a goal that'll force them to have to try and score the fourth one, and they're going to do it.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it could happen at the end of the day, right? I mean, crazier things have happened,
It will
honestly.
happen. Quote me on it. Clip it.
Oh, clip it. I have a hard time seeing it, man. I do. Vancouver is very good. They did get under Messi's skin in the first game, but like I mentioned at the beginning, never count Messi and the boys out. They can definitely do a lot of different things, and when they want to try, when they go hard, like they did in that second game versus LAFC, they can do what they got to do. They can get the job done. Do I think it's a little bit tougher here with Vancouver? Yes. If I think this game will be won in the first half. If it's a 0-0, I think it's probably going to go Whitecaps' way. If Miami gets a goal in the first half, then they probably can come back and win this one. If Vancouver scores a goal in the first half, I personally think it will be over.
This thought just came to my head, so I just thought I'd share it. We were talking about ticket prices a while back, and I talked about how Inter Miami had the most expensive games, and how the Whitecaps had the cheapest games.
Yeah.
So it was $15 to $150.
Dang. How much are the ones for this game? Have you checked that?
I haven't checked.
While you pull that up, I did also mention this in some of the clips beforehand. Again, Vancouver fans, like, they showed out for their team. They did very well, supporting the Whitecaps. I'm sure Miami is going to do the same thing for them. The Miami fan base is going to show up and show out, and let them know, like, hey, we believe in this game. So, but I'm sure that there's going to be lots of sold merchandise, lots of sold beers, and everything else at this game that's going to be sold out. I'm sure it's
You
great.
know what? The games aren't crazy priced. The cheapest one is $60.
Oh,
and
wow.
there's even like a third row ticket for $128, which is not bad for a Inter
Dude,
Miami
people
game.
got to get to these games, bro. I mean, that's a steal. Here we go. All right, sweet, solid. I like it, dude. I think it'll be an interesting game. The next one up is the game on Thursday, Cruz Azul versus Tigres. This one is tied. It's anybody's game at this point.
Bro, why are these all named the same? Estadio Universitario and Estadio Olímpico Universitario.
Listen,
What the fuck?
One's a university stadium and one's an Olympic University stadium. Okay, better believe. I have no idea. Oh, okay, you said that. I didn't. But Cruz Azul Tigres, honestly, I can go any way at this point. But I do think Cruz Azul has been doing very well, and given the fact that they beat America in this tournament, I see them going into the next stage. But yeah, like we don't really cover Liga MX here, so I'm gonna go Cruz Azul. Not sure who you guys see.
Told you guys last time, bro. Once a Cruz Azul hater, always a Cruz Azul hater. I will go with my Tigres, Los Tigres. Let's go. Let's get it.
What do you think, Fern?
The only thing that has me is anytime somebody scores an away goal, it just becomes a bit more difficult.
But
Let's go Tigres. Let's go Tigres.
Nice.
Fuck.
Okay.
Fuck Cruz Azul.
Yeah, man, we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, I hope an MLS team wins this, to be honest with you guys. Like, I would much rather watch Inter Miami or Vancouver win this whole thing than a Cruz Azul and a Tigres.
You know what? If Inter Miami loses, I wouldn't mind watching the Whitecaps win, just because.
Yeah.
It's a MLS team, and we're kind of supporting the MLS here. And yeah, I mean, they deserve it with the way they've been playing. Honestly, they made Inter Miami look bad, which not a lot of teams can do. So yeah, you got to respect it. You know what? I love Inter Miami, but if a team, no matter what team, if it's somebody playing Barcelona or whatever, if you make us look bad, make the team look bad, then I'll just have to respect it. So, especially when it doesn't happen often.
Yep, there we have it. So the Concacaf Champions Cup this week, the finals will be set, and we will see where the final will be played and what two teams will go head to head. Let us know who y'all think is going to make it. Obviously, if you have Messi and the boys going, sweet, let us know. But if you think Vancouver is going to go and shock the world at this point, let us know as well. Or if you think the Liga MX team is going to win it, like they typically do, let us know who you think is going to win.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I don't think either of these Liga MX teams are better than both the MLS teams, so I feel like it's gonna be MLS. But that's just me.
It's fair.
You know what? That's just
I
me.
agree. I agree, to be honest with you. Sweet. So that will be something to watch this week. We will cover that in the next episode. And then for the final headline of the episode today, I wanted to bring something up that I think sounds a little bit dumb to kind of like think that it was a little bit differently this way. But recently there was a headline that came out saying the Black Knights football partnership with Orlando City. To kind of give you guys a little bit more context here, I can kind of bring this article up. But essentially, two teams have decided to be like, hey, let's be buddies, let's be homies. We can kind of work together and kind of share, some capital, some management here, and kind of go from there. Let me share this. And this got me thinking. Guys. I was like thinking, like, man, like this is kind of cool. Like two teams kind of coming together, I'm being a little bit more of a team across the ponds and all that. But I also started thinking, like, okay, well, who else is kind of doing things this way? So I pulled it up, and I pulled up a couple interesting things here that I think would be fun to share. But there's a lot of organizations that are a multi-club owned organizations. Essentially, one big company owns a lot of different teams. For some reason, I didn't put that together. I didn't like kind of assume that was just kind of a thing that happens in the world of soccer. But curious, what do you guys think? Who do you guys think is like the biggest club ownership, if you don't already know?
Messi and Real Madrid.
Messi and Real Madrid. Nice.
Okay. Or Messi owning Real Madrid is what I was trying to say,
That would be nuts.
It's probably a European team for sure.
No, it's
Holding.
No, it's Middle Eastern country.
I don't know.
Good guesses. Good guesses for sure. But here's just so you guys can kind of see, and this is a story that I got from 90 Minutes. The kind of the peak of like who owns so many teams is called the City Football Group, right? And so they own, I believe, the last time I checked, it was like around 13 different teams that kind of fall under their umbrella. So they're like at the very top. They own a lot of different teams, a lot of very good teams. If you look at some of their logos, they all look very, very similar, which is obvious, right? That they kind of would kind of, keep that, what is it, like keep the brand kind of. But we do have the City Group kind of being at the top at like the Mecca, right? We also have the Red Bull that kind of owns a lot of different teams. I believe they own like 5 or 8 teams or something like that. And then you kind of start going down a little bit more, 777 partners. And then you kind of start getting into, some smaller organizations, some individual investors. But one of the things I wanted to bring up from this, not just from, a perspective of like, hey, these people own so many different teams. Why do these organizations own so many teams, right? And from what I learned was in 2015, it used to be where like players were owned by an agency, right? Like their agent was in an agency and they owned the rights to a player, right? So this player wanted to leave. The club didn't only just have to like try to make this guy leave, but he had to work with like the agency to get him to leave, right? Or to trade him or whatever, or loan him out. And so that was very sticky, very crazy. So they ended up making it so that the club or the bigger club, the management kind of owns the team as well as the players. It sounds like it's here to stay. It sounds like it's something that's going to stick around. It's relatively newish, probably about 10 years old at this point. But what do you guys think? I mean, having one organization own like 8 different teams, like, do you guys think that's a good thing? You guys think that's a bad thing? How do you guys kind of see that in general?
Before I say anything, do you mind if I show their logos for the City Football Group so they can kind of get an idea of what it looks like?
Yeah, let me.
This is on their official website.
Yep.
And yeah, you can tell they really love circles.
Yeah, they love everything centralized, circles. They like blue, except for Palmero. Yeah. That one's a little bit.
Yeah, there must be a new team, honestly. I didn't even know they owned them, so.
I think that's not like a newish team, but I have seen them before. That's like a new logo, though.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I feel like it's fine, per se, to a certain extent. Let me double check real quick, but I don't believe the City Group owns any team in the same country, if I'm not mistaken. So I feel like it's completely fine as long as you're not owning a team in the same country where they can like be corrupt. Like, let's say, your teams are first and second, but you want this team to win, so you tell the other team, whatever, yeah, I get it. Okay. So I don't really mind it. I feel like it's not bad. It helps maybe like certain teams. I know some people like get mad and be like, the money's ruining soccer, football, because these people come in, they buy, like, for example, right now, Wrexham,
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you guys have heard of Wrexham. We're what, like in the third or fourth tier
yeah,
of English
fourth,
football, and then now
hmm
this is their second consecutive, and I think they're in the championship now,
third
which
consecutive.
yeah, third consecutive. So they're in the championship. So, they're getting closer to the Premier League. And I feel like a lot of people, for some reason, get mad once a team like gets money and they start having success, which, you know what? I don't see what the problem with that is. Why not bring more competition into football? I guess, yeah, money can ruin it. But like, think of teams like PSG,
Yeah,
I guess, yeah, domestically, they do dominate.
yeah.
But once you go out, you can tell, like,
Money don't buy everything.
yeah, you can't buy everything, like City just got their first Champions League 2 years ago.
Yeah,
PSG don't have it. And you know what? Like it gives these other smaller teams an opportunity to be able to like send their players up to a bigger team, or like let's say like the New York Red Bulls, I literally just told you guys his name earlier. What's his name?
oh, I forget what his name was. I don't remember.
Give me like 2 seconds. I'm gonna find it right now. Forsberg. I don't know. I can remember,
Mm.
but it gives like let's say like teams like this the opportunity to like be able to get maybe like bigger name players kind of brought down to them in an easier exchange than kind of having to go through another team, which I guess some people might see it as cheating.
Yeah,
Because they're like you don't have to pay as much as somebody else would because he's part of your parent club or
right.
whatever. But I
Yeah,
don't see it as a horrible thing as long as it's not within the same country like in Mexico with Pachuca and Leon.
Pachuca. No, yeah, it's a good point for sure. I'm curious what you're thinking, Lopez. I don't know if this was pretty new to you or if you've kind of like assumed this was going on.
Money makes money, man. Like that's all the older I get, that's the more I realize capitalism runs the world. People got to make money. They got to attract fans. Would it be ideal? Like for me, I think there'd be such a cool pride in being able to adopt, like, I believe it's the Green Bay Packer model, right? Of like the fans own the team. And
Hmm.
that way there's like way greater investment from the community and the fan base and being able to see the team succeed, showing up to the games, making sure that tickets get sold, there's butts and seats. But that's just not the world that we live in, where people are like, again, like we do see it with the Green Bay Packers, but like with the MLS and soccer in the US being where it is currently, while yes, it is gaining more popularity, for it to really break into the market and cut through, like even hockey is growing in popularity in recent years, right? Like we're all like competing for more and more attention and
Hmm.
headspace, and the MLS, the only way they could deal with it is by bringing in groups and investors like this, in my opinion.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know
It makes
that
it more business. It makes it more corporate. It makes it more whatever. And at the end of the day, I would love to see like more communal based, like teams, like we
For
all
sure.
invest into like a nonprofit Green Bay Packer model. But anyway, but sorry.
I was gonna say, since you were talking about the Green Bay Packer thing, it kind of brought me back a while ago. There's this YouTuber, his name's Spencer Owens. He was like a FIFA YouTuber, soccer YouTuber type thing, and like this was forever ago. I swear it was like when I was younger. But he brought up this team called Real Oviedo out in Spain, and he like they were kind of going through a tough time. So kind of what they did is they let people come in and buy like shares of the club to be able to kind of support it and whatnot. And I looked it up, and this is crazy. It's like a full circle moment, and it just like threw me off because I was like, oh, let me see how much who owns Real Oviedo. And believe it or not, Grupo Pachuca owns 51% of the club, which is funny because we were literally just talking about it. And 29% is held by other shareholders. And so I don't know whether that means like, private investors, like, some of the
Right.
fans and whatnot. But yeah, I just
Yeah.
thought I'd point that out because there are some teams like that. Not very much, though.
Yeah, and I do like that. I like the idea, like what you mentioned here, Lopez, about the whole Green Bay Packers and having basically the fans own the majority of a team. I think that's a very cool concept, and I think I mean, there's a bit of a like pros and cons to both, right? I mean, obviously, if you don't have a lot of fans, or maybe like you start going on a couple losing streaks here and there, you start losing some faith, and people start kind of pulling their money out. You don't have as much investment, you can't really kind of have the team out there. Like I can see that happening. But then on the other spectrum, right, you kind of get too corporate, too money hungry, like kind of like a city group, like the city management group, because in the way that if you look at their website for the city football group, they basically will kind of almost farm players, and then the best of the best go to their top tier club, which is Manchester City. So at the end of the day, like they're just trying to find people from around the world to kind of be the very, very best player. And then slowly they'll kind of bring them up to their other clubs, and they pay them to Manchester City, which competes in the highest league obviously in the world. So there's two different ways, right? But I do think, I love that idea. I honestly, like, a dream would be like at some point here, right, in Utah, like getting another team where we kind of get like a big fan base, maybe in the state of Utah, maybe in like Idaho or something, to where we can all kind of create a team or build a team, but kind of make it more fan owned, and then maybe just compete in like the USL or an MLS, or sorry, an NI, like one of those second, third tier leagues, and just kind of have it run it that way. Like, that would be super cool to do, but that's super, super far into the future. But it is just something that I wanted to bring up to all of you and just kind of show you, like, hey, there's a lot of like money behind the scenes. The MLS is a little bit different with kind of how they do things, because it is mainly just competing in the US. So they don't have as many like giant corporations behind them, but they have those big, American business owners, American billionaires that made their money doing XYZ, and now they own a piece of this team, right?
It's also like, there's certain teams where, like you said, City buys a bunch of players. I think I was trying to figure out how much they have spent in the last 5 years, and they spent around like $222 million on players within the last like few years. So yeah, some teams, they have to buy their players. Some teams that don't have maybe as much money try and focus on their young players. Like I would say, like if you look at Barcelona's team right now, just like since we're on the topic, they've been going through these financial troubles where they can't necessarily go out and buy the players. And if you look at their team, I think they're the youngest team in Europe. They have a freaking 17-year-old on their right wing, an 18-year-old or 17-year-old playing in center back. They have so many players under the age of like 22 that it kind of forces them. But they're also very famous for their academy. And I feel like a lot of teams in the MLS should kind of, look at that model and adopt it, because, the MLS has a spending cap. They can't come in and spend 50 million. I mean, they can, like on 3 players, spend whatever they want. Right. But those 3 players aren't going to win you a title. You should invest. If you want this league to grow, you need to invest in the younger generation and make it more accessible for players to come in and be able to play, because the MLS or just the US in general is very money driven, which makes sense. It's one of the biggest economies in the world, but I feel like they should also invest in the people that may not be seen. Like imagine if Barcelona made Messi pay all this money to be able to play for them. You never meet them. Same thing with Ronaldo, bro. Like look at him. He was literally I can't say the word. Yeah, he was impoverished. Say it, Lopez. You know what word I'm trying to say. Correct me.
No, that impoverished word.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I just feel like, they got to come from the trenches sometimes. Not always. Yeah. But
that's a good conversation, though. I think that's a good one to kind of go into maybe next time. But just a little thing to kind of food for thought, right? Sometimes we don't really kind of look at the whole behind the scenes, but you kind of got to look sometimes and say, hey, look, this is like probably a good thing. It's probably not a bad thing. Or sorry, it is a bad thing. But how can we make it better? How can we progress the game in the States and everywhere else? So, like I said, food for thought. Very cool little article there. We're going to go into the picks. We're going to do them a little bit differently here just to kind of get through them a little bit faster for the Week 11 picks here. I want to run through these. If there's a game that you guys think is like one of your top games for Saturday or Sunday, I want to stop and talk about that one. Maybe just a couple tops, you know what I mean? If they're not obviously like a top game that you're kind of looking at, let's just kind of just pick and then go right into the next one. But we'll kind of do it that way, just to kind of breeze through these a little bit faster. So to start us off, Atlanta versus Nashville. I wouldn't necessarily call this like a super amazing game. Should kind of give Atlanta like their winning streak back or their hopes back, maybe. But here, I mean, Atlanta, it is going to be in Atlanta. Nashville is coming off of a pretty crazy game, so I'm going to go with Nashville. I'm not sure how you guys feel.
Nashville.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. I was going to say, you know what? San Jose did win like 7-1 earlier this, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and they came back the next week and lost. So I'm going to go with that.
Oh, okay. Atlanta.
And
okay,
there was. Nashville. Okay, go.
No, I was going to say Nashville, Atlanta. Next up, Toronto versus New England. I don't think Toronto gets their win. They're going to get another win here. So give me New England.
Me too.
Fern.
Me too. Yeah. I don't. Okay. I'm not picking Toronto, and I should have picked them against RSL because
I know. Sad
This
day.
is one I actually wanted to do a deep dive analysis into, so I got at
Okay.
least 30-minute talking point. I'm just kidding. Give me Toronto.
I'm like, damn, really?
Toronto.
Give me Toronto. Yes,
I was like, I
Fern,
know
give me
you picked him at the
Toronto.
beginning of the season, but I thought we learned our lesson here.
I'm a masochist, man. Give me that pain. I'll go with Toronto on this one.
Oh, you are going with Toronto. Okay, so
Yes,
New
I
England,
believe.
Toronto. Okay,
I believe.
perfect. Love it. Next up, Montreal versus Philly. Give me Philly. What do you think, Lopez?
I don't know, man. Just give me Philly. Give me Philly.
Me too. I'm
Okay.
not picking Montreal. They're in the Nalgas category, bro. I'm not picking no Nalgas teams.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think the first pretty good game is probably going to be this one here: Columbus Crew versus Charlotte. Columbus obviously being a very top team. Charlotte's kind of being in that. I think we put them in the middle of the pack for the power rankings. So I think this one's honestly probably the first good game of Saturday, and probably one of the better ones. I'm going to go Columbus, but Charlotte, I mean, you never know. They got a pretty dang good team. Zaha's been doing pretty well, as well as just kind of their attacking third. But I'm going to go with Columbus. What do you think here, Fern?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Columbus. I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte wins, but I'm gonna go Columbus. I just feel like they're the better team, in my opinion.
Yeah, Lopez?
I do not dissent. I go with Columbus.
Sweet. Columbus is all around. DC United versus Colorado Rapids. They are going to be in DC. DC only has won only one game in the past 5, but Colorado, I mean, they're pretty good.
Benteke's
Man.
out.
Well, and Benteke's out. Okay, yeah. But yeah, like I said, I think Colorado's a pretty dang good team. I'm going to go with Colorado for this one. So give me the Pids. What do you think here, PZ?
Give me the Pids.
Nice. Fern?
The Pids.
The Pids. The Pids. The Pids. Nice. Next up, we got Inter Miami versus New York Red Bulls. This game's on Saturday, so they're going to have, Thursday, Friday, so 2 days of rest to kind of get back into this one. I'm gonna go with Miami. They're probably gonna win this one, so I'll go Miami. What do you think here, Lopez?
The Fern hater in me is just like crawling out, but I'm not gonna be a Fern hater. I'm gonna do the smart thing since I'm in dead last right now. Give me Inter Miami.
There you go. Fern,
I just swear, like, the teams I like to watch are just like, it's nice, because I get to watch them more often. But like Saturday Barcelona, Wednesday Barcelona, and then it was Saturday Miami, now Wednesday Miami, and Saturday again Miami and Barcelona. It's going to be crazy, but you'll never see me go against Miami. So
there you go. Miami's all around. And next up, Austin versus Minnesota. I think these are top, like, more of the upper brackets, I would say.
yeah.
Solid matchup right here, man. Oh, this is a tough one to call. They're going to be in Texas. What do you think here, Fern?
I'm going to go with Austin.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. PZ, what do you think, dude?
I'm also gonna go with Austin.
Okay. Yeah, both coming off of a loss. These guys didn't lose in Vancouver. Yeah, give me Austin. We'll go with Austin. Sweet. Next up, we have Chicago Fire versus Orlando City. What do you think, Fern? Okay. PZ,
one Florida team has to win this week.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be Orlando. Give me Chicago.
Going with the Chicago Fire.
What happens when you picked them last week? Just wondering.
I did see what happened, but dude, like, it is what it is. This game, you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, you never know. It could happen. You never know. I'm gonna go Orlando. I think Orlando's got a better team. They are gonna be in Chicago, but I think Orlando's too good. So give me Orlando. This one's interesting. San Diego versus FC Dallas in Snapdragon. A lot of injuries here for FC Dallas. But what do you think, Chino?
Give me San Diego. There we go.
Love that. That was a good catch, man. Okay, San Diego. Fern, what do you think, dude?
FC Dallas put 4 against Miami, and the last 3 teams have put 3 against San Diego. I'm going to go FC Dallas.
Oh, okay. Going FC Dallas. I think San Diego gets back to their ways, man. I'm going to go with San Diego. So San Diego for me. This tough one.
Bro, I'm not picking Real Salt Lake, bro. Give me the Whitecaps.
Oh, man. We can't all go Whitecaps, guys, because then the worst thing happens to us. I'm going to go Vancouver as well. Lopez, don't do us dirty.
Dude, I'm going to do you dirty. Why would I go last? You just put this on me, bro. I'm going to go Vancouver. You're cursed.
For a second, I thought they were at home. I'm like, I need to go watch this game, but it's in Canada.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it might be worth it with those $15 tickets.
I know, right? You never know. Dang. Yeah, we're all going Vancouver, but if Real Salt Lake somehow wins, we got to stop doing that. Okay, sweet. Now, next we got LAFC versus Houston Dynamo. I'm going to go with LAFC. What do you think here, Chino?
Give me LAFC.
Yeah, same. Houston Dynamos and the Nalgas. Although they did just
Nalgas.
win. Yeah, LAFC.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Next up, we have San Jose versus Portland Timbers. Portland's red hot, dude. Even if they're going to be in California, give me Portland.
Give me the Timbers. It's going down. I'm yelling
Kesha. I was
Timbers.
literally about to say that. I was like, give me Kesha.
There you go. Nice. So you're going Timbers as well?
Timbers, yeah. Timbers.
Okay, solid. Next up, we got Seattle versus St. Louis. Ooh, 8:30 game in Lumen. Solid game here, guys. I'm going to go with Seattle. What do you think, Fern?
I'm going Seattle. I don't think I'm going to pick St. Louis anytime until mid-May because that's when Berkey comes back.
Solid.
But we'll see.
Okay, Lopez?
Give me the Sounders. I'm playing it safe this week after an atrocious week.
Got it. Love it, dude. Okay, and then we only got 2 games on Sunday. But New York City FC versus Cincinnati. I think it's a bit of an easy one as well. But what do you think, Fern?
I'm picking Cincinnati, and I'm predicting Denki to score 4 bicycles.
It's a bold prediction, my guy. Nice. Chino, what do you think, dude?
Give me New York City. This is one I'm going to claw my way back up the ladder with.
Ooh, okay.
Just you wait.
Okay.
Bro, that guy's name is Teenage Lingani. Teenage, bro. That's a crazy first name.
I know, I just saw that. Interesting. Good pick, bro. I mean, who knows? If they do end up winning, good for you. But I'm going to go with the obvious one here. I'm going to go with FC Cincinnati. And then to round us out. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say you said Cincinnati, right, Lopez?
No, I did not.
He's in New York.
No, dude.
What? That's I wasn't even paying attention because I just assumed you were gonna pick Cincinnati, and then Reyes was like, "We'll see," and I was like, "Wait, this guy did not just pick New York City FC."
I did pick New York City FC, bro. Clip it.
Okay.
Clip it.
Yeah.
Okay. Clip it. Yeah, he picked New York. I went Cincinnati though. Okay. And then to cap us off for Sunday night soccer. Oh. The battle of the asses, the battle of the nalgas.
Toilet paper bowl.
Yeah, dude, the toilet paper bowl. Gosh dang, man. I'm gonna let you guys go first. Fern, what do you think, dude?
Bro, I mean, I can't. They're both bad. Kansas City has not been as bad as the LA Galaxy, but I feel like Sporting Kansas City is just bad enough to give LA Galaxy their first win. You know what? For those like 2 minutes, the LA Galaxy looked like a good team. You know, when they scored those goals, and if they can just give me those 2 minutes for 90 minutes, they're gonna win. So I'm gonna go with the Galaxy. Although knowing these two teams, they're just gonna tie. But I'm gonna go with the Galaxy.
Gino, what do you think, dude?
Give me Kansas City. Kansas City.
Kansas City. Man, this is a tough one, bro. For Sunday night soccer, two teams that are just not too good. I'm gonna go LA Galaxy.
Fellas,
they gotta win.
Look at that date. It says May 4th. It is no longer the end of April. I'm sorry, LA Galaxy. I gave you your one shot, and you let me down.
Is it possible for the Galaxy to not win a game the entire year?
I'd have to look at their schedule.
Do you think they'd fire the coach before that happened?
If they went completely undefeated, yes, absolutely, they'd fire their coach before.
Well,
absolutely.
What I'm saying, yeah,
they would have to. I mean, come on, like that would be ridiculous to not win. Okay, and this is just really quick. They have Kansas City, they have New York Red Bulls, Philadelphia, LAFC, San Diego, San Jose, not till the end of May, and then they have
they're cooked.
RSL in a very, very end of May.
Wait, is the RSL game home or away?
I believe it's going to be in America First. Yeah, it's going to be... Oh, sorry. That one's going to be in California.
Bro, I spent money to go watch Royce play. He's one of my favorite players, and bro didn't show up.
Hey, get your money back, dude. You gotta get it back.
I called. That's my messy situation.
There you go. Well, anyways, that concludes today's episode of the Correct Soccer Podcast. Good stuff. We talked about a lot of different things. Exciting week 10. Going to be a very exciting week 11. Let us know. Let us know what y'all thoughts are. Let us know if we're picking the right teams. If we're not picking the right teams, let us know about our power rankings. Follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, YouTube. We are on Spotify. Check us out. Give us a follow, like, subscribe. Any final words from you two boys?
Me more cowboy than Fern. That is all.
You want me to bring my boots out? I'm just kidding. No. You know, I just want to say thank you to all the people that have been watching. You know, we've been trying to do the best we can. We have some pretty decent, constant views. You know, they've been pretty steady. So we do appreciate you guys watching. And we hope you guys, enjoy it. If there's anything that we do that you don't like, if maybe I'm talking about Messi too much, just say something in the comments and I'll just keep talking about him more. Yeah,
Exactly.
no, but dude, we do appreciate the support. Keep watching, tell your friends, tell your families, make 20 emails, subscribe.
Yep, exactly. Let them know. Let everybody know.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you all. Thanks again. Like, subscribe, share, everything. Peace out, y'all.